My name is Shelby, and this is a video about how to teach a music workshop in Fusion. Thanks for watching, and I hope it's helpful for you and your future students. First, I'm going to talk about some general things. What is a Fusion workshop? Who takes a Fusion workshop? What are your goals when teaching a Fusion workshop? Next, we'll focus specifically on your instrument and how to teach it. And finally, we'll talk about some general tips for workshop success. What is a Fusion workshop? A Fusion workshop is a fun setting in which Fusion students can learn musical skills in order to better engage in dynamic community and develop a basis for continued musical, personal, and relational growth. That's kind of a long and complicated definition. In other words, Fusion workshops exist in order to teach music, but at the same time they prioritize community, relationships, and personal growth in a fun and positive learning environment. Who takes a Fusion workshop? Fusion students, of course. Usually teenagers between the ages of 13 and 19 who are a part of Fusion, whether at a summer Fusion camp or part of the year-round rock choir ministry of the local church. Many have never played an instrument. A few might have studied at music school, but most probably have very limited musical experience, yet are eager to learn. What are the goals of a Fusion workshop? The first and most obvious goal is teaching songs for a concert. There's always a Fusion concert coming up, and it gives the teenagers a tangible target to work towards, as well as an opportunity to showcase what they've learned. Another goal is giving the students a springboard for further learning. We want to teach material that will make it possible for students to continue to learn, even if it's mostly on their own. We don't want to turn them into one-time Fusion guitar solo wonders, but instead give them practical skills they can continue to build on in the future. The final goal is developing relationships. Although workshops are rather task-oriented by nature, they can be a great way to build deeper relationships with the students and for them to deepen relationships amongst themselves too. So now that you know what a Fusion workshop is, who takes a Fusion workshop, and what the goals are, let's learn more about how to teach your specific instrument.
Okay, so before you start teaching the drums, it's important to explain to the students what each part of the drum kit actually is, what they're called. So you tell the students, this is the kick drum. This is the snare drum. The hi-hat, the toms, and cymbals. Later on, you might want to explain this is called a high tom or a low tom, or if you have 3 toms, tom 1, 2, 3. That comes later. The next thing you want to do is have the students sit down at the drums and explain to them where they put their feet. So their right foot should be on the pedal of the kick drum, and their left foot should be on the pedal of the hi-hat. Now, very often when a student sits here for the first time, they don't press down on the hi-hat pedal. They keep their foot slightly up, which makes a rattling kind of noise. So it's really important from the very beginning to explain to the students when they put their foot on the pedal of the hi-hat to keep it pressed down. It's a much cleaner noise while you're teaching the drums. Okay, next you should explain how to hold the drumsticks. Oftentimes when people pick up drumsticks for the first time, they hold them like Animal on The Muppet Show, like this. But it's important to explain that you hold the drumsticks between your thumb and your first finger, and they should be quite loose. So the end of the drumstick should bounce on the palm of your hand, so like this. And right now we're using hot rods. These are very good to use when you're teaching drums because they're quieter, and they're also good to use during a Fusion concert because they're quieter and they won't overpower the choir. But obviously you could choose to teach the students using normal drumsticks. That's fine to do as well, but it's going to be louder. So if you're teaching the drums in a room where there's something else happening, it's always better to use the hot rods. And in any case, it's very good to teach your drummers to drum quietly. So today we're teaching Shelby how to play the drums. Welcome, Shelby.
Hi.
Okay, so Shelby, when you sit at the drums, you put your right foot here on this pedal, your left foot on the pedal for the hi-hat, and you make sure you press down on the pedal. When you hold the drumsticks, they need to be between your finger and thumb and your palm, and you're going to cross your right hand over your left hand like this. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to show you a quick basic beat before you do this yourself, just so you know what I'm going to teach you. But what we're going to do is count to 4, and on every 1 beat, we're going to hit the bass drum. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you have that, we're going to be doing 4 beats on the hi-hat. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you have those done, we'll combine the two. Okay? So why don't you try that yourself? So put your right foot there, great, and your left foot, are you pressing down on the hi-hat?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Wonderful. How are you holding the drumsticks? That's perfect. Okay, so we're going to count to 4, and on every 1, I'd like you to hit the bass drum. Are you ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And it's really good that you're counting out loud as well. That will help you to keep the beats. Now what we're going to do, ignore the bass drum. I'd like you to hit the hi-hat on every number. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you do that 4 times? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. One thing to think about, when you're hitting the hi-hat, you don't have to keep moving your whole arm. You can just use your wrist. Okay, just try that one more time for two rounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is combine the kick drum and the hi-hat. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now Shelby's picking this up very, very quickly. She must be a musical genius. Sometimes students have a hard time adding the hi-hat to the kick drum. And that's where it becomes very, very important to have them count out loud. If they keep counting out loud, they can get it in their mind that when they count to 1, they hit the kick drum, and on everything else, they hit the hi-hat. And it's really important not to move them forwards too quickly. They need to be able to do this for a minute without making a mistake before you add the snare drum. Okay, Shelby, so you've learned the most basic drum beat on the drums. So if you remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to add the snare drum, okay? And the snare drum usually plays at a different time from the kick drum. So we're going to hit the kick drum on 1 and the snare drum on 3. So I'll count out loud so I can remember when I should hit the snare drum. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, can you try that?
Okay.
Wonderful. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'd like you to count out loud as you do that.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wonderful. And can you please do that 4 more times?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect. Now, as I said earlier, Shelby is picking up this very, very quickly. It might be that you have to again show the student how to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes what you might have to do is drum with the student. So if Shelby were having a few problems getting it, I'll show you just how I would use my sticks to help her. So we'll just drum up. So I'm going to count to 4 and then you'll start. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so sometimes you can use visual cues to help the student understand exactly where they should be hitting the drums. Now Shelby, you've done very, very well. So now we're going to try and put everything together. But before we do that, what we're going to do is just work on putting the hands together. So if you remember, you were doing 1, 2, 3, 4 on the hi-hat. And this time we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 on the hi-hat and 3 on the snare drum. So it will look like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to count to 4 and then I'd like you to start doing that. Is that okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
And you can count to 4 while we're doing this too. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Now what you would probably want is to have your student do that over and over again until they can do that without counting. But now that Shelby has that, Shelby, we're going to put everything together. Now what I want you to do is just drum one cycle all together. So I'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, stop.
Okay.
And then I'm going to count to 4, and then you'll do that again. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. 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 Perfect. Now, the reason why we do it this way is because if we try to get the student to drum a continuous beat over and over again, they can very easily lose themselves. And we want to build up the confidence of the drum student. And this way, Shelby hasn't made any mistakes. It's just good to get them used to drumming one cycle well, rather than many cycles badly. And now you can do one cycle well, Shelby. What we're going to do is do 2 cycles one after the other. So we'll basically count to 8. Okay, so I'll count to 4, and then we'll do 2 cycles together. Are you ready?
Yep.
Can you put your hands in the right place? Wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Perfect. Now, Shelby's picked this up really, really quickly. Shelby, what I would like you to do now is to just continuously play that drum beat. Continuously for 2 minutes. See if you can just keep that rhythm. Now, sometimes when you give students that challenge, they can begin to speed up or slow down. And so it can be helpful just to stand slightly behind them with your own drumsticks, keeping the right speed. This is right by her ear. It's quite annoying for her, but it will make sure that she keeps the right speed. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Yeah, good job. Keep going. You're doing a great job.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
Perfect.
3, 4.
Keep going. 3, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2.
Okay, so we can stop there. Now, one mistake that we can sometimes make when teaching the drums is that we go too fast. We start teaching new things too quickly. So it really is important to have the student able to play this for 2 minutes with no mistakes before you then go on to show them something else. Okay, once your student has learnt a simple beat and learned to keep a simple beat, you can then go on to teach them some more advanced rhythms. It would help you to listen to the songs that you think your student will play in their fusion choir, and that will help you to understand what is most important to teach next. But some of the most basic things you could teach would be doubling up on the hi-hats, so like this. or doing an extra beat on the kick drum. So 1, 2. Or adding cymbals, adding drum fills. Whatever you feel would be most beneficial for the student to learn is what you can teach, but it's important to remember not to teach the student too fast. They have to get used to playing a continuously same rhythm for a long time because each of our songs lasts 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, sometimes it might happen that you have many students in your drum workshop, for example at a camp or at a festival, and you don't have one set of drums for each of them. Now, you could just have the students sitting around waiting for their turn to use the drums, but I think it's much better to teach the students to drum without a drum kit. And it's very, very simple to do. Basically, your hands and your feet are the drum kit. So your right hand goes onto your left knee, your left hand stays on your right knee as it would a normal drum kit, and here's your kick drum. So Shelby, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to, on 1, we'll hit our right foot and we'll keep our right hand going 1, 2, 3, 4. So try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now Shelby's a very good student. She's picked this up already, so we can now add the snare drum. So this is your snare drum, and if you remember, we hit it on
3.
On 3, wonderful. So we're not going to add this hand yet. We're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Can you count out that as well? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wonderful. And now you can add your hi-hat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And again, you can continue teaching the drums using this technique. So we've been doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we'll just do double beats on our hands. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and now we'll add the other hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this way you can teach any new beats. And it's also really good to teach this way of drumming so that the students can practice this at home. Almost none of our students have their own drum kits at home, but by teaching students to drum, just sitting down using their hands and feet, we're teaching them to practice drumming every single day when they're at home, in school, at the bus stop, whenever they have a free minute. Now, especially when we're teaching drums at a camp, we have a very short amount of time to teach many students how to play the drums. And oftentimes when it comes to the final concert, the drummer isn't 100% ready to play the drums, and for sure will have a hard time keeping the beat for the whole song. So it really is important for you as the drum instructor to be stood behind the teenager as they play the drums and maybe helping them keep the beat. One other thing that you can do if you have many students and you want to involve them is to create things like drum lines. Maybe there's a song in your concert where there's a really good, strong, regular rhythm, and you can have maybe 3 or 4 students standing in a line with a floor tom, drumming out some kind of a rhythm to that song.
Know the concert songs, the songs you're teaching, inside and out. The better you know a song, the easier you'll be able to teach it. And the easier it will be to adjust parts as needed for students who are more or less advanced. Make sure you're communicating well with the other workshop leaders and band leaders so that parts of songs are covered but not doubled up. Remember that perfection is not the goal, but at the same time you want your students to feel successful, not like failures, because they can't get a hard part. You want to challenge them but also set them up for success. Never force anyone to play in the concert, but encourage them until the bitter end. Some students will gain confidence bit by bit and really love playing in the concert, but only after a lot of practice and encouragement. Offer more options for more advanced students. Have ideas for extra songs or exercises handy. Spend time with students outside of your workshop. Music is a language. Don't stop there. Let it be a tool and foundation for relationships and trust.